What's up Internet, IG here again today with another Linux distro review. Today we're taking a look at a crunchy Waldorf salad known as Crunchbang Linux. So as most of you suggested on my Debian 7 review, now if you haven't seen that, there'll be a link in the description as well. As most of you suggested, one of the most popular derivatives of Debian that most of you all seem to mention was Crunchbang, a very lightweight Debian-based distribution with the OpenBox window manager. What does all this mean? A very lightweight distribution. So, cut to the chase, let's get into it. Okay, so here we have a pretty basic setup of Crunchbang Linux. The really only thing that has changed here is the wallpaper, because the wallpaper by default is just a very boring grey background. But at the same time as being kind of dull and boring, at least on appearances, it's kind of what Crunchbang sets out to do, create a very minimalist, to the point, task-oriented distribution that really gets out of your way and lets you get the stuff done that you need to get done. Now the menu is a simple click on the desktop, right click on the desktop, and you have very quick links to most of the things that you're ever going to want or need, including all the app categorizations, recent places, system settings, and all that fun stuff. You also have a quick run command, and you also have a few keyboard shortcuts and system info here on the upper right hand side. Now of course all this is very heavily configurable, as it is OpenBox that you're dealing with, so you can really go nuts as to how you want this distribution to look and behave. So you can see here you can edit the Conky configuration file, which is the system info on the side here, and then you can also configure OpenBox with the actual XML, or you can use a graphical user interface, as you can see here. Now, like I mentioned at the start of the video, it is a very lightweight distribution, and you can see here just on the system info, at the moment I'm using about 210 meg of RAM. Now that's after opening a few things up, playing around with a few things, but on a cold boot this distribution will use about 100 meg of RAM. I usually got consistently somewhere between 100 and 150, so at 210 I've already been using Iceweasel, the web browser, which is basically just an unbranded version of Firefox, and then you have things like the XFC file manager, Thuna, and a few other basic sets of applications here tied to keyboard shortcuts, making them a lot easier to open when you want them. So apart from it being highly customizable and configurable, you also get a pretty decent selection of software out of the box as well, which is good to see in a lightweight distribution. You get file searching, archiving, text editing, some fantastic terminals there, file manager of course like I mentioned. You also get GIMP and the Vuenoir image viewer, you get VLC, XFburn and volume control, really all you need apart from a good music player. You get easy links to install other web browsers apart from just the unbranded Firefox being Iceweasel, and you also get some good tools here for remote work and SSHing into other machines. As far as docs are concerned, you get quick links to Google Docs as well as AbiWord and GNumeric and the PDF viewer for all your Office needs, and of course they do actually give you links here to install LibreOffice as well, which brings me to actually a startup script that they have on Crunchbang Linux. When you first boot up Crunchbang and finish installing it, which by the way is pretty easy if you're used to graphical installs, then you're presented with a terminal screen that explains some of the things that you can do with Crunchbang and some of the options that a startup script can perform for you, such as installing Java, Flash, LibreOffice, and other auxiliary software that you may or may not want. Now, I opted to not install any other software because I was pretty happy with the way the system was already running. But as you can see here, it's a very simple task-oriented approach with a right-click, hold and launch, and then obviously you can manage your windows pretty easily, just like any other graphical user interface, except it's very lightweight and it doesn't look too bad either. Multiple workspaces here as well, nothing fancy, but just quick, speedy and to the point. Apart from basic system controls up here on the top, you can see there's not a whole lot going on the panel here, adding again to that minimalist feel. But don't let the minimalist philosophy and feel fool you, because of the fact this is a Debian based distribution, meaning that you have access to a vast array of software and other desktop environments if you so choose through the Synaptic Package Manager or Debian's archives. So Synaptic Package Manager is just the same here as it is in any other Debian or Ubuntu based distribution, and you've got a great selection of software here to choose from if you so wish. Again, installing this stuff is as easy as finding the right software either with the search filters or through the categorization, right-clicking and say mark for installation. You can also see here that I've got a few upgrades available, so you can mark them as well and keep your distribution up to date. Now it is based on Debian 7 or Debian Wheezy, which means that the software that you get is going to be very, very stable. I've already covered a lot of this in the Debian 7.0 review, and you can definitely look at that if you so wish, but a lot of this software is going to be maybe slightly older as far as versions are concerned, but very stable and very well suited to a production environment. So Crunchbang would be great for very high intensive CPU tasks such as video editing, image editing, 3D modeling, etc., because it gets every other element of the system out of the way and lets all the processing power and computing power go towards the task that you're doing. So for what it sets out to achieve, Crunchbang does a fantastic job, and if you have an under-spec'd machine, or if you have a very task-oriented machine that you need to get work done on with minimal interference and with great performance, then I definitely recommend Crunchbang, as it's a fantastic distribution and built on an incredibly solid base. So Crunchbang definitely seems to be one of the more popular lightweight distributions, and because of its Debian base, it is indeed very lightweight and very snappy, especially when you're running it on native hardware, as opposed to just running it in VirtualBox. Even then, it's a very nice base system, even if you are dabbling in virtualization. So the question I have for all of you guys this time around is, of course, Ubuntu is based off Debian, and there are many hundreds of thousands of distributions, it seems, based off Ubuntu. So with the 13.04 release cycle pretty much over and done with, which are the best Ubuntu derivatives apart from the obvious ones like Linux Mint and Kubuntu, Xubuntu, Lubuntu, etc.? In particular, I want your opinion between these two distributions, Netrunner and Linux Deepin, because those are one of the two I'm going to be reviewing next. So let me know in the comments below, and I shall see you all again next video. Thank you for watching, and if you like this content on a regular basis, feel free to subscribe and click the like button if it did indeed help you out. See you all again next time, and let me know what you think of the crunchy Waldorf salad thing below.